What's up? Another video. This one is, the title says a day with a Pentax K-70, but that's actually what this is. But I'm going to be talking a little bit more about photography in general. It's such a nice day. It's almost May 1st. I decided to take the day off work and go do some photography. Go on a nice little hike here. Probably hear the highway behind me. I'm just now getting started, so it's a nice little trail I take quite a bit. If you've seen any of my other videos, a lot of sample images are taken from this trail, so there's usually wildlife, flowers, a little bit of everything. So anyway, so what am I going to do? I'm going to change this around. I'm going to put some images here. I'm going to got my backpack with me. I'll show you what's in there in a second. But there's a Pentax Tamron 70-300. I'm going to take that out, get a few shots of some of these beautiful spring flowers that are along this trail right here. That 70-300 has a nice little macro feature on it. That's really cool. So let me do that, and then we'll continue to talk. All right. Got off the that paved trail, and we're just walking through the woods here. So I figured I'll do some fishing a little later. But before I do that, I was going to talk a little bit more Pentax in general. Watched an interesting YouTube video. Tony and Chelsea Northrup. If you haven't watched their channel, I'm sure you've probably come across it if you're on YouTube. They do some great stuff. But they had an interesting video the other day. It was Is Photography Dead, which was pretty interesting. And they were talking about just the sales in general have gone way down in the past 8 years. So they're all-time high around 2012, and it's kind of fallen down since then. So they were saying some of these manufacturers kind of die out, and they mentioned Pentax not doing anything to tech-wise to come to the forefront. So I thought that was pretty interesting, but which I could, I agree with that. They hadn't come out with a 4K camera. DSLR has a 4K video on it, so I could see that. But when they do put out a camera, they're slow to put out a camera. But when they do, it's a really good camera. All their cameras end up being really good with more, if you're Pentaxian, they always have more features in them for a little bit cheaper price. So that's the thing that I really like about Pentax. Just me in general, the cameras that I've had, try not to slip off this trail. I've had I started out, my first Pentax was the K-30, went up to the K-50, which really isn't an upgrade. Then I went to, I'll go after that, K3. Then I went to K1, KS2, and now I've got the Pentax K-70. So my knowledge of their cameras is really well. I've been shooting for a number of years, and I wouldn't keep on buying them if I didn't thoroughly enjoy shooting with them. Look, a nice little area. Let me turn this around. You're missing out all the cool stuff. Looking at my face. What I think would be interesting, I hadn't seen a manufacturer try to do this. I mean, tech is going like super fast these days, but just go back to something solid and cheap, like the Pentax K1000 that came out in the 70s. That camera made its run for more than 10 years, and it was one of their top sellers at the time. It was cheaper than all the other models, and it just was very solid, and it did its job, and it did it well. No big whistles or whatever, extras on it. It just did its job. It'd be interesting if Pentax kind of tried to do that again, make a camera that's like $200 new, and it didn't have anything special on it. Kind of like one of the Rebels, just like make a plasticky body, take the flash off there. You don't have to have video on it. No mic jack, of course, if you don't have video. And just strip it way down, but make it where you could buy it new and still have a decent sensor in there, so it does everything that you want it to do for photography. Have that at a $200 price tag. I'd like to see them come out with the, back in the film days, the kit lens was a 50mm prime. Just throw that lens on there, that 50 f1.8 that they got. That's a really good lens, and there you go, 200, 220, and just keep on pounding the market with that. I wonder how that would do. Maybe not. Maybe it wouldn't sell that all that well, but I mean, if you have a good sensor in it, it'd be better than buying something that's 8 years old where the ISO quality, low light performance isn't that good. So just a thought. What do you think about that? You leave a comment below. This nice little trail here. There's a picnic table somewhere around here. That's a nice little fishing spot I saw before. That Tamarin that I was using earlier, squirrels jumping around scaring me. that Tamarin 70-300 that I was using earlier, spiderweb. Go ahead and check out my review on that if you hadn't. It's a very solid lens. If you're looking for a cheap telephoto lens, that's the one that I would recommend just to keep in your bag. You can get it for under $100, between 50 and 100 used. I would go ahead and get it. It's got that macro feature. It's just a 1 to 2 or macro feature, so it's not true macro, but it does. You can get some pretty good macro shots with it, as you can see by those flower shots I did earlier. The only thing to look out on it is it's made of all plastic, so there's plastic on the inside, so a lot of times people will put it in that macro function and force it into turning it, not knowing how to get it back to normal, and they end up snapping the inside of the lens. So there's a lot of broken ones out there, so just be aware of that. Uh-oh, some turtles jumping. Question I see a lot in the forums. I'll blow out the highlights here. Oh, look at that, that's nice. The question I see a lot in the forums is I'm going to upgrade, or I'm thinking about buying a Pentax camera. Which one should I get? And they list several cameras. They'll say the K3, the K3 Mark II, the K-70, the KP, or the KS2. Those are all very, very similar cameras. There's not, if somebody asks me that, I always just say, whatever's cheapest, unless you're out there doing like action photography, a lot of sports and stuff. I might recommend like the K3 Mark II instead, just because it has a higher frame rate. You can, some of the other ones have, well, there's not like they're slow cameras, but they're just not as fast. And the K3 Mark II also can go up to 1/8,000th of a second on your shutter speed, so it's got a little quicker shutter speed in there. But as far as image quality, all of them are really, really similar. You're not going to have one that stands way above the other one, so yeah, just whatever's cheapest. That's my thought on it. I've had this K-70 now for about, I thought I might hurt a snake or something. That would have been cool. I've had this K-70 ever since it came out. I think it's like 3 years. Maybe it's 2.5, but it's been out a while, and I've been shooting with it. I hadn't had any problems with it. It's the best crop sensor camera I've ever owned, so I recommend it. The reason I like it above those other ones that I was talking about is it has the flip out screen. Those other ones don't. The KS2 does, but the other ones don't, so you might just want to get it. I was hoping to see some snakes today. I kind of like doing photography of snakes. It scares a lot of people. Or some copperheads I've seen out here before, but hopefully I don't step on one on the way back here by myself. Alright, let's see. This looks like a decent fishing spot. Something jumped up there. Huh. Alright, I might put this on a tripod. You could watch me fish for a second. Wish me luck. you're wondering what I'm using the fish with, this is a little, you see that? Little spinner bait. Just a little tiny thing. My ultra light rig here. Try to catch some bluegill or something. The one interesting thing about Pentax, like I said, I've been shooting Pentax for a number of years. You know, I've never seen anybody out in public with another Pentax. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, I used to go to, I haven't been to Disney World in a few years because it's gotten so damn expensive, but I'd always, you know, kind of look at what people had as far as cameras were concerned. You know, it's been a few years, so, you know, Sony and stuff like that has popped up some more, but, yeah, you know, 99% of them was, you know, Canon and Nikon. You know, probably 75-80% was Canon, so it was kind of what the industry was. I remember being real surprised when I saw a micro 4/3 one time. I was like, wow, somebody's actually got one. You know, that's when that's when the mirrorless just started to come out. I'm still waiting on that K3 Mark III Pentax. Bring it out for me. 4K video. Doesn't have to be mirrorless. You can put mirrorless on there, I don't care. I think maybe that's what's taking them so long. They're working on a mirrorless camera, maybe. I don't know. It does seem like they're falling, you know, they're falling back. Pretty soon, you don't release something in so long, it's kind of hard to get back up there. So hopefully they'll get with it and put something out soon. I'll buy it. And I'll have a review on my channel. Pretty dark in here. It's like I'm a silhouette, isn't it? But it's nicer to look the scenery than my ugly mug. Quick PSA. You have to use a bathroom in the woods. Do not wipe your butt with that. Yeah. Gosh. You see that? Yeah. Ooh, I'm gonna feel this tomorrow. Well, I didn't fall. We're going to test out the durability of the K-70 if I took a fall down there. Alright, let's continue on. Well, there's a deer up there. You can't see it with this 10mm, but it's in between those trees. It's shaking his head a little bit. It's right in the middle of the frame. Not worth putting another lens on because there's so much brush there I can't see through it, but kind of scared him a little bit when I walked by and he went up farther. So anyway, let's continue on. Pretty cool spot right here I found. And continue on. There's a lot of bikes that come through here, so kind of have to be on the lookout. I haven't really seen two people so far, so it's pretty funny because this is, you know, you heard the cars at the beginning of the video. This is kind of close to the road. It's just like a probably 2 mile by 1 mile rectangle with a lake on one side. So, but just this little area, you feel like you're, you know, all up in the middle of Mother Nature. Well, right. Turn off the camera for a second, and then I caught me a nice little bass here. You see that? Nice little fish. I'm throwing back now. See if I catch some more. You hear that? Hear that bird up there? That was an osprey. It was here a second ago, and I got my telephoto lens back on, and of course as soon as I put the lens on, he left. So I'm going to cast off a few more times. If he's still flying around, I might try to get a shot of the osprey. That'd be pretty cool. I told you I was going to show you what was in my pack, so obviously I got fishing tackle. These were just to help with the tripod that I'm using. I'll show that tripod here in a minute because it's on the tripod right now. A lens cloth, my wallet, of course, and this. I brought this. I was going to put this back on. This is a wrist strap that I used to use, and I use this all the time when I first started photography. I actually love these things. Just a little bit better than you always have your camera in your hand ready to shoot. So I always use this as a Hong Kong special. It's like $3, and I hadn't used it in a couple of years. So I've got several, or used to have several of these. I used to give them away because I'd buy a bunch of them from Hong Kong for $2 or whatever, and give some out because I liked them so much. There you go. And it's a knife, some more fishing tackle, and some filters. I'll go over the filters here in a second. And then my Twinkie from my last video, if you saw that. Kind of put something in the foreground if I'm doing some landscape. This lens right here is my 16 to 45. This is f4. I've got a review on this. Here's the filters that I got that I'll be using with them. So I was going to set something up. It's kind of the middle of the day. Get some long exposures. There's a variable ND filter, so I could really get that shutter speed down low. Get close to 30 seconds with that. That one's just a newer brand, cheap brand. Of course, your circular polarizer filter, and then I got a few gradient filters. These are just plastic Hong Kong specials. I kind of clean them up before I use them, but got different colors. I think I got a blue one in here in the bag too as well. So I'll probably might do a landscape shot here in a second. Other stuff, it's not going to rain, but I just leave that in my bag. And then just a few band-aids and stuff for like a small first aid kit. There's that blue one I was talking about. A bar to eat if I got hungry. Extra battery. And then this thing. This is what I was talking about before in the last video that I did with the broken on. If you're getting that lens flare and you need something, this is a reflector, but you could also use this to block out light from the side if you're getting some lens flare. This is what I was talking about there. I don't have the bag for it, but let's put it back in there so it doesn't blow up again. And then, of course, this is the one I was talking about, the Pentax 70 to 300. It's got that macro feature on there that I'd shot with the flowers earlier. Yeah, and a couple of bottles of water. That's it. That's what I got today. This, let me go over this backpack. I've had this backpack for about almost 10 years. This is my go-to backpack. I've bought several backpacks, and then this is it. I mean, it's been used and abused for 10 years, and it's still holding up right. It's perfect. Got this off eBay. It was Hong Kong special. It was $30. They make a bunch like these, so it's got a rain fly in the bottom. I think I put a review on that on my channel, so you could just search bags and see what all the ones I've done. But let me fish a little bit more, and then we'll head on down and continue to hike, and I'll start to take some pictures. Maybe I'll use that 16 to 45 f4. It's a monster. Here it is. Here's the picnic table I was talking about, right here next to the water. And the trail is just out in the middle of nowhere for some reason. I don't know. I guess somebody had a boat and made this their little spot to come eat lunch or something. But one of these days I'm going to come out here and bring my little little burner for cooking up some lunch and maybe catch some fish, do some fish tacos or something. That'd be kind of cool. But out there, you can't see it, but way out there, especially with 10 millimeters, I put my 300 on there, but there's a osprey nest out there, and it's still not. Well, here's the shot to show you how far away it is. That's at 300, so it's still way out there. I need that 450 millimeter. I'll probably need 1,000 millimeter to shoot out there. Anyway, all right, but thanks for watching. I'm gonna head back now. That protein bar didn't sound too good. I'd rather have a burger and a beer. I'll just take a couple of shots with this 60 to 45 on the way back. So hope you enjoyed this video. Go ahead and subscribe if you hadn't, and if you got any questions or anything, just leave a comment below. Thanks for watching. Well, he slithered away. I kind of got a shot there with the 300, but it looks out of focus. But here it is. Just it looks like a black racer is what it is, I think. So he was like shaking his little tail in the leaves, and I was like, is that a rattle? Because East Tennessee has timber rattlers, which I've never seen one, but they're in this area. I've just never seen one. So anyway, thanks for watching again.